Okay, so here's a example of our backup solution to our backup power to serve as a form of redundancy. Um, I will start with the beginning with the electric boilers. As you can see on the right side, these are 90% efficient, so they are mostly used to create steam for energy storage when you have excess energy, so energy curtailing. And really to make this system more efficient and more effective without draining your power when you don't want it to, I've done a couple things. One is this water pump here. This is only enabled when A equals 100, which is naturally tied to the accumulator over here that outputs A. So meaning turn on only if energy storage accumulators at 100%. So if your battery's at 100%, this water will turn on, which is the foundation for creating steam naturally. These are creating 500 degrees steam. Again, pretty inefficiently, but if you have excess energy, as you can see here, it's fine to do. Secondly, to make this more efficient is really a local grid system. So if you see here, this energy grid is localized and it's connected through a power switch. And this will only turn on again if the accumulator is at 100%. So what this means, and you'll see in a little bit later, that I turn these off when I need, since they're the backup power system, I turn these off to minimize just minimal consumption. As you can see again on the right side, minimum consumption for each one of these is 167 kilowatts. That's about 3 megawatts when they're just standing idle, because these are very inefficient machines. They're kind of like laser turrets where they just drain a lot when not being used. So you'll see later that these turn off when this thing is not actually producing steam. So then moving forward, this steam gets produced into this big buffer tanks. I have it all connected via a red wire system, so you can see the total amount. You can see we're almost at 600K. And then further are the pumps above it. Now the pumps turn on when the collective steam is at 200K. Now you can tell this is on a green wire system because the 200K I'm referring to is actually going back to the main backup power system. These 12 storage tanks are our backup solution that are driven through this concentrated solar power tower, whatever. 12 tanks, 25K a piece. That's 300K steam. I have that read out and then fed into these pumps, so they only turn on when it's less than 200K. You can set that whatever condition you want. I chose 200K for the time being. And then lastly, really to help just manage this whole thing locally, you need some form of power and energy storage. So a few solar panels and some energy storage accumulators keeps these very minimal 6 kilowatt drain pumps working. And when they are working, it's like 30K a piece. It's plenty fine that this little on-site sort of storage keeps them going. So this is the whole thing in effect that turns on when this system starts to get really stressed. And then we're going to show in the next, in a few seconds, what that looks like. As a reminder, this whole system turns on when our energy storage reaches, as a whole, 20%. And again, going back to what that energy storage looks like, we're talking about 22 gigajoules. So once that reaches 20%, that means we're really pushing hard on our main infrastructure for power. We've dipped so far into energy storage that we need to turn on backup power. Otherwise, we're going to be entering a complete blackout. So let's see what that looks like in the next few seconds. All right, since backup power is imminent, we're almost at 20%. Quick check. Current backup power steam buffer is 300K. Our secondary backup power is 729K. Our local energy grid is just, again, keeping our pumps afloat. There we go. Backup power turned on. All these are going to be running at full power, taking from this steam. And now we can go ahead and look at what the overall draw is by just looking at this little power pole on the right. So you can see pretty significant draw on the steam, just to keep this whole system afloat right now. Again, these will not turn on because the energy storage is at less than 100%. And this won't turn on until less than this secondary backup power won't turn on until less than 200K, which will be quickly approaching in about 2 seconds. Now these are working. All right, this is being drawn. So you can see here, this has slowed down the rate of consumption of the backup power because we're rapidly drawing from this compared to this flow. And unfortunately, we can't see the flows, but you can just eyeball this. This is, we're pushing that secondary backup steam up to here to keep this afloat. This is turned off because not only is solar output all the way at almost 100%, but our accumulator got to 100%. Now it's drawn again because we're not fully sustaining ourselves on solar and everything else. So that, in a nutshell, is our backup solution. Key takeaways: this is a temporary solution. I mean, like anything else, you cannot create a foolproof system for backup because it's meant to be a backup. If it were foolproof, then it would be your main system. And that's the thing to learn when you do this, is you can have backups, you have backups to your backups, but at the end of the day, they're only temporary to solve the main problem.